Hello, my name is Bruce Raymond Wright, and I'm the inventor of the macro strategic planning process, formula, and tools. Many people ask me why or how did I create this formula, and it's a pretty simple and straightforward answer. Like most human beings, I would rather not recreate the wheel every single time I work on a project. At an early stage in my career, I found myself interacting with very successful and very demanding clients who had an array of challenges, problems, adversity in their lives, and they were trying to get from where they were to a different and better place. Sometimes it was a different and better place in their career, or in their finances, or in their relationships, but at the end of the day, they were in a state of significant change. And what they really needed was a simple and elegant process that they could understand and implement effectively. What I soon discovered was this process worked above and beyond just helping multimillionaires improve the quality of their life, their business, and their finances. I found out by talking with some of my clients that they were teaching this process to people all over the world. When my clients would sell their business and turn that business into cash, they would suddenly find themselves free of the day-to-day challenges and obligations of running a business. They could now put their time, effort, and energy into a whole variety of projects, including charitable work. Many of them formed private family foundations. In fact, I think that we probably spent 60% of our time creating private family foundations, charitable trusts, and a host of other charitable vehicles so that our clients could utilize their wealth more effectively as they went about the business of helping other people, helping improve the environment, etc. As they would go to different parts of the world, they would take this process that they had used so effectively and then teach it to the indigenous people. Suddenly I found myself getting thank you letters from people written in foreign languages. I'd have to find translators for these letters sometimes, but they would thank me for this process and how it had changed their lives. Some of them were living in grass huts in Indonesia, some were living in mud huts in Africa, and some were living in very dire circumstances in different parts of the world. It seems that what I had stumbled upon, or what I had discovered, or what was given to me through divine inspiration was a very simple and elegant process that every human being already knows how to do. In fact, I believe it's actually already implanted in our DNA. And it is so powerful that once you learn what the process is and how to apply it in a very clear and articulate way, you can use it to dramatically improve your life, your business, your relationships, your career, anything that's really important to you. When you think about the progression of a child, one of the first things they learn to do is to crawl and then to walk. And they do this by observing the people around them. But if you think about the process, it starts off with a vision or the desire to be able to do something that is new or different. Once they have clarity about what they want to do, they go about taking the necessary actions to be able to walk. And the process is virtually the same everywhere in the world, and it has been the same for thousands and thousands of years. There's a quick story I'd like to share with you right now about the macro strategic planning process. Sometimes when I get involved in a project, there is one family member or one business partner that is much more enthusiastic about going through the process than the other. And I remember one particular case in Southern California where I was teaching the process to a husband and wife, and I was about 10 minutes into the discussion, and the wife, who was very resistant to putting in the time, the energy, and spending the money to even engage in the process, looked to her husband and she said, "Dan, we already know how to do this. And he looked at me and he figured, oh no, here we go. She's gonna get all upset about all the time and energy and money we're spending on this. And she said, Bruce, we already know how to do this. I said, yes, you do. I said, and that's why I'm going to give you the marking pen so you can come up to the whiteboard and you can finish the process. She said, well, what do you mean? I said, well, obviously you know the process. I admit that you know the process. It's in your DNA. So right now, why don't you go ahead and just finish the process and just write it down on the marker board? So she stood up and she came over to the marker board and she took the marking pen from me, and she looked at her husband and she looked at me and she looked at the whiteboard, and she realized that she couldn't write it down. It's a very interesting thing. When somebody articulates for you something that you know at a very core level, but you don't have the ability to articulate it and put it in writing for yourself, it's a really powerful and exciting experience. And that's what this woman went through that day. Yes, it's in your DNA. Yes, you already know how to do it. But can you write it down procedurally, go through an entire process and get to the other side of the process and be where you want to be? That's really the question. So if you want to look at the macro strategic planning formula through a somewhat different perspective, what if we just simply called it the universal success formula? Every human being intuitively knows what it is. But I can tell you, when I was going through the process of creating it, it was very, very challenging. It took a lot of effort and a lot of energy, a lot of meditation, a lot of prayer. And over time, the formula revealed itself. And that was what I was able to take to the federal government here in the United States and get a registered trademark on. So the macro strategic planning formula is the universal success formula, which every human being intuitively has within them, but most human beings cannot articulate and move forward on in a rational, disciplined, organized way. And that's why this is so valuable in terms of being able to see it, make it tangible, and actionable. And that's exactly what we've done for you.